Hi everyone, hope you're doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Now, Raila Odinga lost the African Union Commission chair election to Ali Mahmoud Yusuf of Djibouti. So after losing these elections, there are several questions that Kenyans are asking. How did he lose? What went wrong? And what should he have done to win the election and all that. So many questions. Of course, he was a candidate fronted by President William Ruto and of course, fronted by the government of Kenya. Because those are some of the requirements that you must be sponsored by your government. And you should avoid involvement into local politics. So that's the situation. And I want us to try and answer the 5 reasons, in my view, why Raila Odinga lost the AUC chairman election to the Djibouti counterpart. That is the discussion I want us to have today on this punchline. But before we go deep into this discussion, I have a quick request. For those who are watching this channel and you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing. To our returning subscribers, I must say thank you so much. And again, to all our viewers, please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much. And back to our discussion. Now, 5 reasons why Raila Odinga lost in this Addis Ababa election. In this conversation, my focus is on Ruto factor. Because Raila was sponsored by the government and the head of that government is William Ruto. So this is the Ruto factor. It is not only Raila Odinga to sell his candidature. He can't meet every president. But if you are a president, it is easy to meet other head of states. So you can have an engagement. Once you land in their country, they are aware that you are their visitor. That is the reality. That is what normally comes with the powers and privileges in the office of the president. You cannot just fly to another country without prior information and without a proper arrangement for your welcome. So this was a candidate fronted by President William Samuel Ruto. Number 1, why Raila Odinga failed. Kenyan president, in the latest opinion poll, he was voted for as the second most corrupt president in the world. Not in Africa, not in East Africa, not in Kenya, in the world. In the whole world, Ruto became number 2 as the most corrupt president. And Gachagua, of course, told us that they are not happy because President William Ruto was rigged out in this opinion poll. Rather than being voted as the most corrupt, they voted him as the second most corrupt. So imagine you have the second most corrupt person in the world visiting your country and convincing you to vote for a candidate that he is fronting. Already when Ruto comes to this other president, he's coming with these dirty hands of corruption. So when he engaged with other presidents, wanajiuliza maswali, and what is this corrupt individual telling us? No one would want to associate with a man who is carrying a tag of corruption, especially when you are a civil servant. So Ruto has been walking around with a rotten egg of corruption on his face, campaigning for Raila Odinga. That was one of the injuries to Raila Odinga's candidature. Huyu wa Kenya tumesikia president yao ni mwizi, ako the most corrupt person kwa opinion poll. Sasa president wake kuja hapa, unaona tu mtu wa mlungula, mtu corruption. So because of that, I think other presidents from the other republic were not convinced to vote for the candidate that the Kenyan president was fronting, because Ruto was the campaigner number one of Raila Odinga's candidature for the AUC. Now, reason number 2. Before the AUC election, was it just 2 days to the election or 1 day? 2 days to this election. There was allegation of President William Ruto holding a meeting with the Al-Shabaab leadership in northeastern after he went there for a working tour. This information was later shared on US Embassy, though they claimed that it was fake news. So they flagged it off, but already the message was very clear. You can read that the president had an engagement with the Al-Shabaab leadership. Al-Shabaab is a militia group that has been declared by the international community. That means if these individuals can be found anywhere, they deserve death. So the international community has recognized that. They have declared that. Then they hear a sitting president of another country having an engagement with such people. Already, they are going to view you as a dangerous person supporting this individual, maybe with a gain for that. Whether it was because our 5 chiefs were abducted or whatever reason, Ruto should not have had an engagement with these guys. Whether fake or true, the fact remains that this rumors was trending on social media. Ikifika kiwango US Embassy wanna share this one, then you just know it is serious. It came at a time when election was coming, and I said in one of the previous analysis that this can be one of the tactics that these guys might be using against Raila Odinga's candidate, just to injure this candidature, as they will be viewing William Ruto, a man who can go to any extent, including negotiating with the militia groups. Watu wenye wanapiga bomb. Because of that, some president across these other nations will have a question mark at the front campaigner of one Raila Odinga, William Ruto. Number 3, Ruto has a bad record and a poor reputation because he has been viewed as the most lying president. Ruto's speech cannot end without a lie. Kenyans have identified him as a liar. He gave empty promises. So imagine having such a person with a perception of lies coming to your country to convince you to vote for a candidate that is fronting. Even before you look at the CV of the candidate, you already have the CV of William Ruto, who is pushing for the other candidate. That alone is enough to dismiss that person. And so, most of African presidents knows that William Ruto is a president who lies to his own people. Sasa hawakujua kama anawaambia ukweli ama alikuwa anawadanganya. Unajua hata kwa hii kura wakienda kupiga, kuna wengine wanaenda kwa negotiations to an extent even you promise to help in one way or another the other country. Hata saa zingine wapee biashara. Mambo kama haya. Sasa Ruto akisema hiyo wanaona huyu jamaa anaweza kuwa tunadanganya vile huwa anadanganya wa Kenya. It was a factor. Number 4, is it 4 or 5? 4. Ruto has been, perceived to be playing a prefect role on African leaders in attempt to please the Western countries. Wakienda meeting, anakaa kama yeye ndio prefect. Hata ni afadhali Joe Biden alienda nyumbani. But he was being viewed as a person or an agent of such people. So due to what African president had learned about William Ruto and their feeling, that huyu jamaa anajifanya saizi yeye na anabehave kama prefect, they had disciplined his candidate by voting for the other candidate. So that also was a fact. Lastly, William Samoei Ruto has been serving for the first time as the president. When he was deputy president, he did not have that much connections. So he's still new, and he was approaching this presidency for the first time. They don't know his character, and because of that, and also putting his behavior there, it was enough for this other presidents not to quickly to buy into his candidate that he was pushing for. Lastly, before I forget, there was also a thinking that Ruto was transferring a burden that is facing in Kenya to Addis Ababa for the AUC seat. That means he's trying to settle a political difference here in Kenya by offering such an opportunity to Raila Odinga. So it was not just a genuine attempt to push for Raila Odinga's candidature. Those who are feeling that, no, this guy is doing so to solve this problem here so that he will have peace here by sending Raila Odinga to AU. So if you view Raila Odinga in that angle, as a president, he will easily vote for another candidate who came in seriously like to work for the people, but not because of inconvenience or convenience. So those are some of the reasons that I believe made Raila Odinga not to be so much appealing to other presidents to vote for his candidature. I don't know your views, but let us put in the comment section to continue with this discussion. Thank you so much, and see you in our next video.